Welcome back to the Welcome Home Lake Norman podcast. It is me, Ryan. I'm here with Ben Thomas and Tiffany Weber, and they officially, today, we're recording this on April 1st, and this is not a joke, they are officially Thomas and Weber PLLC, which I learned that is basically what lawyers get to use.
Well, just a professional limited liability company.
See, I don't get to use that.
Or a PA.
I don't know. We could do something. You could be professional.
I'm a professional,
whatever.
podcaster.
Yeah. So there you go.
Professional personality.
So in your own mind. That's
right.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to talk about, we get a lot of questions. You've been here for 30 years. You've been with Mike for 30 years. And people are kind of wondering like, oh, gosh, what's going on? Is there some huge breakup? Oh, my gosh, Ben Thomas and Mike Godley they're just in just a terrible situation, and it could be further from the truth. So we want to talk about the new firm, what the other firms are, and kind of what you guys are doing and why, because a lot of people don't understand why, and I didn't until we kind of broke the numbers down of like what the law and bar rules are to say, oh, well, this is actually a smart decision. So Ben, you take it away as far as why did you guys separate into three separate firms?
Well, because Mike Godley was being a jerk. No, Mike's fantastic. We have been law partners for 30-something years now, and still the best of friends. He's a fantastic guy and a great lawyer. I mean, domestic lawyer. I would go to him if I needed him, but I think my wife Angela's already worked something out. So
she's already there.
Yeah, so we may have a problem. But, with Tiffany coming on board and with us bringing in a bunch of new lawyers with the domestic side and the litigation side, we grew really, really fast over the last 2 years, which has been great. The problem has been that we still work in a small town. And so we touch a lot of people in our community from a legal standpoint.
Just not right now because we're staying distant.
Yeah, we're 6 feet away from them. But, I mean, we represent a lot of people in the community, fortunately, that we enjoy doing. But it's creating a conflict of interest problem. And the bar is tighter on their rules than they've ever been in the past about if we've done a couple of closings and any other work for a couple, with Tiffany and I doing real estate closings, then Mike or his lawyers down there couldn't represent them in a divorce.
Right.
And so we started conflicting them out a lot.
And vice versa, if they were getting a divorce, kind of having the
Right.
real estate closing, who could represent, could you represent? And so.
And the same thing with litigation department with Grimes.
Right.
So we sat down and we started talking about it and I go, this is silly. Why don't we just spin them all off?
Yeah, we're losing business to ourselves.
Right, exactly. And I think you're going to see more firms doing this.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, and I think we have heard of some other firms that practice in different areas and conflicting each other out.
Well, back in the day, it was kind of a big thing to be a huge general law firm, and now it's starting to get more, and you guys can't say you're specialist and you're not focused and all that. Like you guys, you can say focused. Like you guys now are focused on just a couple aspects of law because you have referral partners you can now refer your clients to rather than conflict them out.
Correct. And I think the older you get in a practice, you gravitate to a certain area of the law and you start focusing on that. And so I did that with real estate, corporations. Tiffany's come in. We picked up estate planning again. So that's been great.
Yeah, you did that 100 years ago, but
Yeah,
you're
now-
starting to do it again.
I realize all my clients are getting old and really need it now.
I'm the only person that doesn't talk about Ben's age. That's probably why we're
I'm literally saying word for word what he said.
Oh, I know you are.
Yeah, but she doesn't repeat when I make a joke about my age. She goes, "Oh, Ben, you're not that old. You don't look that old."
You're just,
I
it's
said,
just
"Tiffany,
nice.
do you want to be a partner?"
So if you all were wondering why the heck is Ben partnering up with a 30-year-old, that's why.
There you go.
The one person that was just
won't
nice to
say
you.
that. No, she could be mean to me, and I would want her.
Well, she's
as a partner.
trying,
She's so smart. I've never met anybody.
Welcome to my life,
her
Ben.
age that knows as much as she does.
Welcome to
she
my
runs
life.
your household, buddy, because
She doesn't run the household, but she runs all of the conversations.
yeah.
Because I don't know what
that's not true.
I don't know what I'm doing there. I just kind of like,
the
hey
first
man,
time-
I'm gonna make sure that
The first time I
cooked.
saw Tiffany in the litigation department working with Charles Grimes, and they had some big time cases going on, and I saw what she was doing in her research and what she knew about the law. I was like, "Are you interested in real estate at all?"
Do you have any personality,
fortunately-
please?
Fortunately, she was interested.
Yeah.
And so that's how all that started.
And,
then
you
she
know,
started helping in
And
the real estate department.
bringing her on's allowed you guys to kind of do a couple different things, and you've kind of got a different focus in real estate of what you're trying to do as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, one thing that I think has helped in having two lawyers working on real estate is that we can do 2 closings an hour
You've
now.
theoretically
which has been-
doubled your business.
We have doubled the capacity.
Right.
And then on Fridays, if you come in here on a Friday or the end of the month or the 15th of the month, you can bet Ben and I are both in closings back to back all day long, no breaks, because there's a demand for it.
Well, yesterday was
and we
the
were
31st.
we were having to turn people away, and
Right.
that was the problem.
Right. Yesterday was the 31st, and you guys did, 13 closings? You know, back in the day, if it was only you, that was 13 hours of the day. It's impossible. So now adding TIFF, you guys are now able to handle 13 closings a day, and everyone generally wants to close on the 31st because that's when their loans are usually due.
At least by then and toward the end of the month.
Yeah.
So we've been able to accommodate people, and that's worked better.
Do a little more commercial.
Yeah, that's one of the big passions of yours because you worked in that kind of commercial real estate industry with your previous work capacity. And so you've kind of always gravitated towards like, how can I work with builders? You know, I know a lot with the Charlotte builders.
Yeah, it's been fun getting to work with a lot of local builders and just understanding their language. And Ben does too, of course. You know, like there's no question that a lot of these relationships been forged over 30 years. So they're here because of him, and then I just get lucky enough to work with them.
And those I've really ruined those relationships. Maybe you can go out and rekindle them. Because there's plenty of those too.
I mean, me and Tiff call you the mayor whenever we go out to dinner because
yeah.
you know everybody in town.
I'm definitely not the mayor. And there's plenty of people that don't like me.
You're the social mayor.
Well, I guess we got something for everyone. So if you don't like Ben, maybe you'll like me.
There you
If you
go.
don't like me, maybe you'll like Ben. So between
Like
the
we
two
tell
of us,
everybody, you either get the young smart one or the old obnoxious one. You know, one of the
Either
two.
one.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's
And I think we've been good for each other because we're able to bounce off legal ideas. And I've really
and business
never-
ideas. It's fun.
Yeah, and business ideas also. But, you know, Mike's been a great law partner all these years, but he's family law. So he's not necessarily real estate.
and he's not versed in that because he
Right,
focuses on family law.
Just like
And so
we would
we're
never
able-
try to do a domestic.
Yeah, we don't bounce off domestic law questions. We go directly
Don't
to
ask
those
us.
guys.
We don't know.
But we're able to do that now. So it's been good and makes us both better to be able to do that and practice together. So it's been fun. We're having a great time and really excited about this whole new adventure.
For someone like me to be trained by Ben, I feel like I've gotten like a decade of knowledge in a year. I mean, it's crazy. Just
Well, you're
how much
also
he's taught
training
me.
Ben at the same time. You know, we're getting Ben on the straight and narrow. He's
It works
giving you the
both
knowledge.
ways, but believe me, I'm learning a lot here. Oh, wow, I've been doing that for 30 years that way.
So kind of, you know, just elaborating on the other firms, just in case our listeners are interested in working with the same attorneys we have. Nobody's moving, you know, nobody's moving buildings.
Yeah,
We're
we're in the same building and we're all still friends.
Yeah.
And we just had to separate
the practice areas.
the practice areas and the computers and phone systems and separate. So we're not privy to any of the information that they have about
Right.
a client and vice versa with us.
Yep.
So that way we don't conflict ourselves out. And a conflict just means you have a conflict of interest.
Yep.
If one partner knows something about a person, the other partner can't
That's a no-no in the bars
represent
world.
against them.
Yeah,
Right.
conflict doesn't mean that we fought it out in the parking lot.
Yeah, no. So, you know, the firms that we have, you guys obviously are real estate, Tiffany and Weber, Thomas and Weber.
It won't be long, baby. It won't be
Freudian slip.
long. We just cut out the Thomas and it's Tiffany Weber.
So Thomas and Weber, you guys predominantly focus on what? Real estate, residential real estate closings, commercial real estate closings, other real estate matters, which are what? You know, I always lose
Contracts,
track.
leases, easements. We're drafting documents all the time.
Yeah, business formations, LLCs, you know, contracts for businesses, and then also
Yeah, business purchases and sales.
Yeah, and then also like very small estate planning, you know, simple wills. Are you getting in the trusts? Not really.
We're, typically we're referring those out. Ben and I have a shared belief that trusts are oversold because people just want to charge more. You know, you get the trust meals and the dinners where they give you a fancy steak and say, for $6,500, this could be yours. So, I mean,
I want that steak.
we're doing smart, simple estate planning. If people, we're not going to force you into something that doesn't fit you. If you need something more complex, we have wonderful referral partners. So we've got people that can help anyone.
Gotcha.
And that's true with any area of the law. You know, being around here a long time, I've interviewed a lot of lawyers and know who I would go to
Right.
if I had a particular case, and that's where I'd send my clients. So, you know, I get people asking questions all the time.
They call you
about
all
what-
the time and just
and so we know who to refer people to.
Right. You
So
know, a
even
lot-
if we don't do it, we know where to send people.
right. A lot of times they'll call you and say, "Hey Ben, I've got this issue. It's not, can you help me? It's who would you go see?" And you like to listen to every case to direct them to the right person because personalities, you know, and all that.
Yeah. Personalities do come into play big time.
Right.
You know, I think the real estate lawyer falls into that general doctor practitioner category a little bit because most people, the only lawyer they ever really see is a real estate lawyer.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, when they start buying property. So we kind of refer them out to the, you know, the experts
Yeah.
in other areas.
Yeah. And so, you know, kind of moving down the line, Mike Godley, you know, they are now Godley, Glazer, and Funk, which is Mike Godley, Seth Glazer, and Marin Funk. And they
their
are
associates.
Yeah,
Got
they-
some other attorneys.
They've got Will and Marley, I know, and I think they're adding another one, or they did, or I
Yeah.
can't remember.
Yeah, they've got a lot of lawyers, and those are three sharp lawyers.
Yeah, and
I
so
mean,
their
you know, Godley,
focus.
I mean, I knew that when I first met him 30 years ago, and I checked him out. You know, I went to the clerk and I said, "Is this guy any good?" And they're like, "This guy knows what he's doing."
Right,
And he has been that way.
right.
And then, of course, he and Seth got to be friends. I think because they worked against each other
Yep,
so much.
same as you. Yep,
And they had a lot of respect.
yep.
Yeah, that's how I met Mike.
Yep.
That's when I was doing family law. And I go, "Man, dude, you're serious about this, aren't you?"
Yeah, you should
After
probably
this,
help me out.
Yeah, after this, you can have all my cases. Let's join up. But so, you know, that was a perfect deal there with Seth
Right.
Glazer because he's got a great reputation. He's a tough domestic lawyer, and Marin is too. She's sharp. as a
She's
tack.
so smart.
And
Oh,
their
yeah, she's
their
great.
practice area is family law, domestic, so child custody, child support,
Right.
divorce, all separation, all that kind of stuff. And they work the gamut. They go for super high end, you know, CEO, high wealth clients, all the way down to they have a lawyer for everybody. So,
Right.
you know, having that many attorneys on board, they're able to work as many cases
Mm-hmm.
as possible. And that's why they wanted to expand rather than just
And they
focusing
can-
on
yeah,
a small area.
Yeah, and they can be tough when they need to be, and they can
And that's
work
the
with
whole
their people.
personality thing. They have
Yeah,
so
they
many
can-
different lawyers.
Like, you know, I had a good friend of mine, a realtor, come to me one time and said, "I'm having some trouble. I need to see a domestic lawyer. Who would you recommend?" I go, "Well, Mike Godley, my law partner."
Yeah.
She goes, "Yeah, but I heard he was a real, you know, jerk." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you want him to be
Yeah.
your jerk, okay?" And she goes, "Good point."
yeah, it's better to have him be your jerk.
She used a different term, but you know,
okay.
I can't say that on the air.
And then our final practice area split separation
Mm-hmm.
is Grimes and Yeoman.
Yeoman.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yeoman.
Yeah.
And they're focused on personal injury and litigation. You know, Charles Grimes is in that. Libby Grimes is the personal injury. Charles Grimes is going to be more of the litigation.
Right.
And then Rick Yeoman is the other partner who's worked with Charles way back.
Yeah.
And
they
Libby
just,
both.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And they just came back together for
Yeah, and-
all of that.
And again, you know, Charles and Libby are fantastic, and so is Rick Yeoman. So those are three really good lawyers there.
Mm-hmm. And they've got a
I
couple
mean,
other associates
both
with
of
them
them
as
have
well.
a huge reputation around the state
Yeah.
for all the stuff they do. So we're lucky to have them in this community.
Yeah. And so, you know, what that does for us is it gives us this huge referral network of people that we trust, but we're not
That we've
conflicting.
already vetted,
Yeah.
thankfully.
We're not conflicting ourselves out with, oh, yeah, I came to Ben. Could you help me with my personal injury case? Actually, I can't because the person that you're suing is now someone that we've already represented because we did a closing and, you know, it was just
Yeah.
a big issue. So that's kind of the what's going on. So I guess the next question is, what do you see for your future there, you young buck?
Who, me?
Yeah, you're
Man, I am full of energy. I love this stuff. You know, sometimes I'll hear lawyers say, I don't know if I'd do this or go back into law, or they're advising young folks coming up in college about the law and not really positive about it. Man, I love it. I always encourage people. Yeah, you think about going to law school? Go to law school.
Well, when
There's
you
all
get to
kinds
do
of
it
stuff
like
you can
this,
do.
it's definitely there's
and-
no
and
way I
we
would
really
not do it.
have a good time at it, and we take it serious, but we like to have fun, and
that's a big
we
thing
got a
for
great,
what you do.
you know, we've got a staff of how many 11 paralegals that we use in real estate.
Yeah.
So we're busy, and we got a lot of great people.
Speaking
we're
of
very fortunate.
that staff, I just want to brag on them because they did the cutest thing today. They brought in breakfast and a toast to the new firm. It was adorable and very sweet of them.
And were you here to be a part of that?
Yep, I was here.
You got here in
bright and
time?
early. I had a muffin,
Oh, nice.
and I tried to use my little mouse on my computer, and it wouldn't work. But this is getting old. I knew what was up. There was a piece of tape on the bottom of it.
Oh, did they trick you?
Yeah, they did that. I mean, they do that stuff all the time.
They do
And I'm
it
not
every
going to
day.
mention what was in the bathroom when I first went in the bathroom.
They toasted me and played a trick on Ben.
It's probably pretty accurate.
Oh, it just goes on all day long.
I
we
mean,
need to do a podcast, or we need to do a video pretty soon of those guys
just
up
being
there
themselves.
Yeah, they get nervous when you come around with a camera. They
I
don't
know.
want to,
It's
or a
great.
microphone. They won't talk.
I have been so appreciative of how welcoming they've been because they're, wary of outsiders. I got to tell you, they're protective of their tribe, I'll call it, because
Of Ben. They're protective
well,
of Ben.
absolutely they are because he's a great boss. I
Well,
mean,
then
you
they
don't
saw
want,
you training him, and they were like, okay, we like her.
Obviously, Tiffany hasn't been around that long. Of course, I'm not her boss, but you know what I mean.
We still call you her boss.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
boss
right.
lady.
Yeah, sure.
El Jefe.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a couple more minutes, Ben. We're in Corona quarantine still. What have you been doing? What's been new in the Thomas McConnell homestead?
Oh, man. Some discussions.
That's not good.
No, everybody in there, everybody's starting to have discussions. Sometimes you should talk about what you see on your phone and on Facebook or news. Sometimes it's not good. We had one of those last night.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds.
Yeah.
Was it the one that I was on the other end of the phone
Yeah.
for?
I was actually talking to
Well,
Tiffany, and we were talking about some of our procedures that we use here to protect ourselves with the corona. And, everybody has an opinion.
Well, your
So,
wife is also in the healthcare
Yeah, she's in the health
profession, so
business and-
it's tough.
So she's got to throw in her 2
Well,
cents.
it's
But it was
like
good.
you and me having conversations at our household. We kind of lose every single time, so we just kind of sit back and smile and nod.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did.
Tiff just
last
lets
night.
me get myself tired, and then she's like, "Okay, would you like to hear the actual truth?" I'm like,
But,
"Okay."
every day we're learning more and more about how to protect our clients, ourselves, and our staff. And so we think we've got a really good procedure in place now.
Yeah.
It's a little awkward being outside and having the gloves and all the stuff that we're using and the separation.
Oh, and our new masks.
Yeah, we got new masks.
One of our staff members had a family member that has the pattern from CDC. They made us these floral masks. Ben's is also floral.
As it should be.
But it's
I'll get a photo
it's
tomorrow.
been good to have it. I think it signals to people that we're taking it seriously. And
Well, they appreciate it. I had a realtor today. I mean, you guys don't really monitor your social media. I do. So I had one on Instagram today send us a message because they saw one of our videos and said, "Oh, I see you guys are doing curbside. Or you're also doing virtual." Yeah, if you want to do it, we can do it.
Absolutely. In
So,
fact, we like virtual.
right.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see realtors appreciating that so they can still take care of their clients as well. So
And some of our comrades are really working with the legislature right now to hopefully we can do some more virtual type notarization, which would be fantastic if they can get that passed. I know Georgia just passed it today. So we're hoping that we can get that done in North Carolina, which would make it even better for people to keep their distance.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, other than that, big thing for us is we're still trying to support local. We're doing as much curbside purchasing from restaurants as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shopping local on the weekends if we can. Order online, come and pick it up.
Absolutely.
We're doing our part. I hope you guys are as well. And then
We got to help these restaurants. I
Yeah.
mean, I just spread it around.
I was
and
over-
order different places.
Yeah.
videoing for gyms today because those are a place that's getting hit hard. So I'm putting out some online videos for them. So
Oh, great! So
Yeah.
you work out with your person on video.
yeah, so like you can watch your coach and work out at the same time with them.
Yeah, people are getting so creative during this
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yeah.
And the jokes are so funny, man. It's killing me. So, my favorite, can I say it?
Go
on
for
the-
it,
on the
man.
air?
Why not? This is
Who
our
was
own
it? Who was it
podcast.
that- I don't know who put this one out. I think it was Sandy. She's a realtor, but she may have come up with it. I don't know, but it was.
You're just hoping she did, right?
Yeah. So 80 in 8 weeks.
Oh,
In 8 weeks, 80% of the blondes will vanish from the world. And I was like, because none of them get their hair done, right? So I just thought that was so funny.
Well, you're going to see.
Tiffany didn't think it was funny at all.
Well, you're
But I
going to see
noticed
the
she-
real.
That's because my next hair appointment was scheduled for March 25th, which was the exact day that
Ben
they
told
were
the joke?
no that the
that they shut 'em
they were
down?
told to shut down. So mine
Ooh,
was
you were at the day that you really needed to be there, and now
Yes.
you're 8
Oh,
weeks
I'm
or
past
more.
it.
Well, we can shave your
past
head.
it.
Like I'll shave
thanks.
mine and you can
I
shave
think
yours
you're
at the same
gonna
time.
look great as a what is it?
brunette. Yeah.
Brunette. Yeah.
So
you look
I'm
great
just
as a
gonna-
brunette.
A gray brunette. What's that over there?
Yeah, whatever.
I'm like they call it dirty blonde. I don't like saying that because it has implications. But I'm gonna go ahead and apologize to Denise at Bellalago because the next time you see me, there might be some box color. I don't know.
You're not going to do it yourself, are you?
I hope not. We'll see how
We
desperate
ain't letting
I
that
get.
happen. Well, guys, we appreciate you guys listening. And if you have any questions for our law firm, please give us a call. We're able to still direct you to the other law firms. We're super appreciative of everybody's support. Follow our new Facebook page. It's Law at the Lake. Thomas and Weber. The Instagram is waiting. We have to wait like 14 days for it to allow us to change it, but it will be at Law at the Lake.
You can still follow TGG Lawyers in the meantime, though.
Yeah, it'll
It'll
just
still be us.
Yeah, it's just getting switched over. And then our new YouTube channel, we started that from scratch. So please go on there. It's where this video is going to be if you'd like to watch us instead of listen.
And speaking of, we're going to really kick this thing up on the podcast. So we would love to hear from people who they would like to have.
Yeah,
us
and
to
you
have
can
on
even
as
call
guests.
in. Like we can call in. You don't have to come over here. We can make it happen.
Absolutely.
Cool, guys. Well, we appreciate everyone listening, and we will see you guys next time on the Welcome Home Lake Norman podcast.
Bye.